What is good? We are off and running. We are live. We've got going to talk some buckets, going to answer some questions, got some roster reviews. They are live on the website. You can get an automated one. You can get a live one while we're doing this, or you can get a $60 30-minute personalized roster review, all for your pleasure at the ffdynasty.com. Dynasty's #1 crowdsource. No, it's not #1 yet, but we're coming. And I mean, who's saying anyway? So we can say whatever we want. World's best crowdsource data. Here it is. Let's go.
I mean, you said we're coming, so I was like, hey, that can't be. That doesn't need to be a group activity.
Yeah. So obviously we had a little bit of NFL news today. Last episode, we had a question about Javonte and ETN, right?
Travis ETN, yep.
So today, Alvin Kamara restructures and seemingly is going to stay with the team. That question was just straight up, would you rather have Javonte Williams or ETN? Does that change anything for you guys' answers there?
Well, I mean, it was ETN for me. I mean, it was
okay. Well, it was Javonte for me too. I didn't remember where you were. BigCo, I think you were ETN.
I think by the time we got done talking about it,
okay,
I was PPR. I'm PPR. I'm ETN. Half PPR. I'm Javonte. And now with a for sure Kamara being there, I coin flip probably Javonte. Probably there's nobody else to even like demands a touch. Versus Alvin Kamara. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is not the Alvin Kamara of old, but he's still a wily old veteran. They can get it done in a check down game and still catches and still opportunities, so I probably should just go Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I mean,
and I drafted like that on underdog this yesterday and last night and today.
Yeah,
so,
we're already seeing Travis.
But it is half PPR.
We're already seeing Travis Etienne drop some, and he's going to probably continue to drop with more news because he was already people were starting to be like, oh, this is a little weird. So what does this do for your ETN stock, and what does it do for your Alvin Kamara stock? Is there any thoughts, conversations to be had with, is this just try to go get anything you can for Alvin Kamara? Obviously it depends on where your roster is, but just general thoughts on Saints backfield here to get started.
There was always potential for this to work out this way, and it might not work out this way. I mean, hell, Alvin Kamara's had a season cut short the last 2 seasons due to injury. So it's it might create a mini buying opportunity for Travis Etienne. I know long-term dynasty-wise, you can't really be that concerned. It's a 4-year, $52 million deal with like $30 million guaranteed. So I think that this year it could be a little muddied. We might go back to that like low-end RB2 as the floor with some spike weeks when he scores touchdowns, but ultimately he's going to get his target share eaten into for what we thought we were going to get from him just as the bell cow. So this year I got to be a little bit down, but I mean, moving forward, I have no concerns.
Yeah, I definitely think, if DeAndre Swift can go out and be RB2 life and be very startable every week, I think ETN, even with Kamara, be just fine. And I think what Chev said about the dynasty buy-in window, like I just, in best ball underdogs, I'm in a bunch of $5, $10, $12 drafts all of a sudden. And yeah, half PPR, I'm Javonte Williams all day in the last 24 hours. And that probably was going to be like that anyway. But most PPR leagues and your dynasty leagues, I think it's just use it as a good window to attack a cheaper ETN. Give it another day or 3 and let it really percolate and let that stock go down. And I think it's a really good opportunity to pick up a RB2 floor with some real good ceiling in a up and coming offense, right? I think it's a good opportunity to, and for the Kamara part of the question, Casey, it's a blip on the radar. Obviously, it's very, very close to just going flatline there. And
he was. I mean, he's buried all in the crowdsource rankings.
Right? So like,
got to put the player bump on him, get him back in the rotation, see where he falls. Because he was dead for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in our home league, in the Easton Superflex League that we're in together, like I need running back help pretty bad. Won the championship 2 years ago. You came back and dominated this year, won the championship this year. And I'm trying to take that championship belt back. And, if I could get a 3rd round pick for him in basically any league, you probably take that. But I might need him to plug a hole for me in an RB2 YOLO situation this year. So I'm happy to have that blip on the radar back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the Saints are probably, if they can get, 75% of what Alvin Kamara was. And I mean, Alvin Kamara could come back here and be like, damn, there's Alvin Kamara that we, there's nothing to say that he's, absolutely for sure wash. I think he was just, a little banged up last year. They were figuring some things out. Now they've seemed to potentially be something on the rise. He wanted to stay around. He's around. I think, that to me means that he wants to be there and he wants to go do his thing. Right. And at least be into it and wants to do it. And to me, that's a big part of the equation of these guys. Right. Are you just there getting a check? Obviously not. He took a little bit less money because he wanted to stay around a Saint. Maybe he could have went and got a little bit more money from somebody else that was a little thirstier. But he stays. And so I think, that's hey, if you stay, you have at least this part of this offense. I would think that was at least some sort of where you're going to compete and you could carve out this sort of a role and go from there. I would think that was kind of a conversation that they sort of had. Greg says, stop it. He's washed. I mean, is he though? I mean, I don't know. What do you like? What are you basing that off of? Just because he had a bad season last year and he was hurt?
Right. Like it's interesting because it really kind of reminds me a little bit of the Chris Olave talk. I think at one point or another, we were doing a show and I asked you, I was like, do people actually think Chris Olave just sucks now?
Right.
He's just not good? Because he had, it was a bad season before he got the concussion and Derek Carr like actively trying to shave years off his life. And then we come back this year, you got a functional offensive system. You get quarterbacks that can get you the ball without, putting you in harm's way. And all of a sudden he's awesome again. I don't know that we'll see a return to like high end RB1 prominence, but
no,
I mean, at Alvin Kamara's current price point, like you want to go 0 RB and run arbitrage, like you can 1000% have Alvin Kamara. And then if he's healthy, he's going to have spike weeks. I mean, we got the ghost of Austin Eckler looking really productive in the last year, that Kellen Moore deal, I believe in the Los Angeles Chargers of Anaheim, so, I mean, he could still do that, even if he's not going to be a banger or do what he did early on, in 2024 between the tackles.
Evidence, Travis, that doesn't mean anything. They're just trying to shore up the running back position and say, hey, we need a running back we can count on. And we don't know exactly what we still have with Kamara, if he was going to be here, if he wasn't going to be here. So they just went and did what a smart team should do and grabbed a very good running back. And now Alvin Kamara could come in here and just throw a wrench in the plans a little bit. That's going to be a happy wrench in the plans, I think, for the Saints. If he can, and look, if he's 75% of himself, he could still be very effective pass catching.
Yeah, especially for an offense that starts to spread the defense out for the first time in half a decade.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to say Alvin Kamara is going to be awesome this year. I'm just saying that, this could be a little bit of a wrench, and Alvin Kamara could have some games where he's useful, or it could be like week one, like, oh, shit, remember that guy? So, I don't know. It's certainly interesting. It certainly throws a little cold water on Travis to start the season and see how that's going to roll out, at least from potentially the PPR floor. But I think, like you said, Chev, I think that was a good RB2 should certainly be in the range of outcomes for this year and still could be a 12, right? So, I find it interesting. All right, I got a couple swipes here lined up. Travis Etienne or Michael Wilson?
Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne, excuse me.
Yeah.
Respect to, him and his bag and changing the way his name's pronounced.
Is that serious? His last name is Etienne now?
It's always been that.
It's still
back
spelled
in the Creole.
Yeah. I think it's a Haitian thing. Like, I think he's Haitian Creole.
Yeah, so look, it's too confusing for me. So I'm just gonna go ET.
We'll stay with ETN.
Yeah.
Hey, I get it. All right. Okay. Yeah. I'll take ETN over Wilson.
All right.
That's
ETN or Kittle in tight end premium?
I should say ETN, but
does Kittle have 3 years in him?
The contract says so.
He acts like it.
Yeah, that's a motherfucker that loves football.
He does love it. Will his body allow it is the question, because he's not going to stop being reckless and just giving everything he's got and cross body dropping motherfuckers off the top rope.
Yeah,
but I mean that's
it's probably ETN. But if you're telling me I can get each one of them for 3 years, I'll take the tight end.
Yeah, tight end premium here.
I'll take the almost Hall of Fame type tight end.
I mean, almost puts another 2 years in,
brother. Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer. Let's stop this.
I like. You're not going to get any argument from me. He already looks good in gold. I mean, I don't know.
He's a Hall of Famer. I would be really disappointed if they get on that bullshit about.
He's got such a second facet to his game that is, doesn't fill out a stat sheet, but he's been. Well, I mean, one of, if not the best run blocking tight end in the league
for 10 years
every day. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he plays like Gronk, but he's 240 instead of 270.
Yeah,
he's got to take some time off from being the best blocking tight end in the league to catch some balls and get yak. It's crazy.
Only tight end to go over 1,000 yards on less than 100 targets, and he did it twice.
Elite BF gamer, we're doing well. We like the lives. It's a lot of fun. We get to come out here and just have a good time with y'all. So appreciate you joining us. Appreciate you listening and tuning in. Appreciate everybody in the comments and that tunes into the lives and just really listens in general. ETN or Malik Willis?
I'll go Malik Willis here.
Woo!
Oh, I love it.
I'm still gonna take ET, but
it's safer.
It's safer. It's safer, but Malik Willis. You're holding a raffle ticket in your hand, and if they call your numbers,
listen, you could end up going to the chocolate factory. No R. Kelly if you get the ticket with Willis.
If they call your numbers on that ticket, it ain't like a basket of stuff that's mostly junk. Like you about to win a new car.
Yeah, you're gonna win a '67 Mustang.
You're still gonna have to pay them taxes though.
I don't even want this shit. I don't want.
I'm taking ETN. It's like ETN or DeAndre Swift.
ETN.
ETN.
Begrudgingly, Shuck or ETN.
Shuck.
Okay. Yep.
Shuck.
Marv or ET.
Marv.
Waddle or ET?
Waddle.
Gladiator.
Chev shook it off. Chev shook it off like, give me another pitch. He shook that thing off like a pitcher, shaking off.
I want to throw the high heat, dog.
He said, no, I don't even. Not a question. Skip, pass. Nope.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, it should be Jalen Waddle. Like everything points to that being a powder keg.
I really can't argue if you're just 1v1, you wanted to take ETN over Jalen Waddle. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Kyron Williams for me here.
Yeah, got to be Kyron. All right, we can wrap this up. All right, Travis Etienne or Dalton Kincaid? ET for me.
Kincaid.
Mm-hmm. It's ETN because Kincaid is very, very cheap right now, but it's halfway through the season. Kincaid and tight end premium could be looking pretty, but he's buried right now. People hate him, so the answer is ET. But the secondary answer is go buy your cheap Kincaid while you can.
I'm starting to have some aggressive visions and thoughts, BigCo. It's
all right. We've got some AK in our rear view here. Fourth and fantasy guys are hollering. He says legendary Shanny 49ers efficiency. Shout out to Ayuk in 2023. Bulletproof Pearsall next. I mean, I think everybody in this room really likes Pearsall and what he could be. And just kind of how they've just restructured that room. Now they're putting him in a room with Evans for at least a year and Kirk for a year and bringing in a guy like Stribling and bringing him along, who's just a complete opposite attitude wise of what Ayuk is. I like where that's all going. And I think Pearsall, like with just the numbers we've seen from efficiency numbers of separation and what he can do from a number standpoint and from a film standpoint, Chev, you and I have talked about this before. Like Pearsall is somebody who I think is just very high in the tree of trust of Shanahan. He just needs to keep him right for a season, and I think he's going to eventually be their wide receiver one. And I know he's old, so God forbid, but he still only played like 1.25 seasons, or maybe even just one full season, basically.
I think he's played probably a total of 17. I don't even know if it's 17 games, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But I really do like the opportunity in terms of what he could do alongside Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans is the kind of guy who has coverage gravity, regardless of, like, they gave him a 3-year deal, so they don't think he's cooked. He didn't look cooked at any point in 2025 when he was on the field. So, like, they give him a 3-year deal, signifying that they believe that he's going to be able to stay healthy. Is he going to have the little knick-knack nagging injuries that he's dealt with for the last 6 years, putting up like wide receiver, basically being like a top 20 wide receiver all the way through? He's one of the best red zone wide receivers. He's the second best red zone wide receiver of this generation behind Devontae Adams. Like, it's, and he's in an environment. So Ricky Pearsall just being able to operate one-on-one with impunity, like, I feel like that price point is just so down. And Kyle, you started it off saying, we know Kyle Shanahan actually loves this dude in Ricky Pearsall. So, like, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah. He was on my list when we did the buy lows. Get Ricky now, hang out, hold him, see what's up. Brock and I'm so excited for Brock and Evans. I just feel like giving him that big outside monster is just going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like,
Brock might throw 40 touchdowns this year.
That's exactly where I was headed with this, Casey. And I know, BigCo, you'll co-sign this. What's to stop them from doing exactly what the Rams did last year and just being like, we have a guy that's bigger and better than all your guys, and we're just going to throw it to him.
And you can't double him. No. Or go ahead. I mean, you can if you want to, but we got CMC over here. We're gonna give it to Ricky. We're there's going to do so many things of
I think I'm gonna do a no sweat MVP party bet.
Ooh, no sweat, baby.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna throw that out there right now today.
Meatball says Barkley or Devonta Smith Dynasty PPR.
Devonta Smith. Like, what's the
quick answer from both of y'all?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just the wide receiver one in that offense has been so valuable over the years, and obviously, if Saquon's ceiling is higher without question. I'm having a hard time believing that I said Devonta Smith so easily, but it's just because we could go to 0 on Saquon, and it pains me to say that. I mean, I think he's an outlier. Skill-wise, physically, he's an outlier, but if he gives you another back-end RB14 season, then I think his ADP plummets in going into and he's turning 30 this year, or at the end of the season. If they make it to the Super Bowl, he'll be 30 in February.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they're back-to-back right now in the PPR Superflex Dynasty Crowdsource Rankings, the world's best crowdsource rankings. I mean, it's clear. So it's I would say the Devonta Smith, yes. I think him transitioning into the wide receiver one for Philadelphia here, I think he's very capable, and if he ups the target share just a little bit, I think Devonta Smith. But I mean, would we be shocked if Saquon Barkley is Derrick Henry and just has 3 more of just awesome years? If Mannion is really a good coordinator here, and the Eagles can at least get 2 years out of Mannion before somebody else is like, oh, new hotness, he's got to be the head coach. Like, if that really is something, like, Saquon probably is going to have another awesome, ridiculous year. What do you think?
I think if Sean Mannion is going to do what they say he's going to do and make them run more under center and get back to the basics of trying to be physical, establish and win the line of scrimmage, like, this is the dude. Like, he's shown you that he's got top 5 upside in a shit offense and top 2 upside in a great offense. So the ceiling is obviously higher.
Yeah. Yeah. Devonta's super, super exciting though. I mean, this year.
I told you, I think he goes 17, 18 points a game this year. I really believe that.
Yeah.
But if Saquon's good, he's going to be, if Saquon's elite, Devontae's elite is 18, 19 points a game. Saquon's elite is like 23.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
What are you saying? In game, the hitherto undreamt of. Like, I don't even know what that shit sounds good.
I don't know what it means, but it sounds good. Yeah. All right, Devonta's Saquon. We all pretty much went Devonta, but
he just said it's start 3 wide receiver league too, just to crown the Devonta Smith.
Who is the old Syracuse Jim Boeheim?
Yeah. Dan Patrick has a great Jim Boeheim.
It's so good. It's so good. All right. Brock Bowers is on the thumbnail, so we have to obligatorily talk about him a little bit here. He has crept up to number 5 in tight end premium on
not high enough.
It's not high enough. It's not high enough.
Hey, look, might be a year early. We might be a year early to this party, but by the time that Fernando Mendoza gets settled in, if he just doesn't suck, Brock Bowers is going to be comfortably the tight end 1 for the next 3 or 4 years, probably.
Same goes for the coaching staff.
Yeah,
right.
If they don't suck,
so,
if they just give Kubiak enough time,
if this offense translates and moves, like, we talked to Kellen Moore, we talked Shanahan tree, we talked McVay tree, we talked if this offense can move out from under McDonald in Seattle. Right, that's where it came from, right?
Sure.
So, McDonald and Seattle, we talked about that last year in the offseason, how they were just a major come up. If this offensive system can translate away from is there coordinator face? What's going on? Like, McDonald's a stud in Seattle, and maybe that whole ship was like perfect because of him. But if they can take what they're doing and come over here to the Raiders and, thinks Kubiak can start making magic, Brock Bowers there's an unlock there. He's a stud and he's like unstoppable. But if there is he's been unstoppable so far. The only thing that stopped him is injuries with Geno Smith and what was that dude's name that nobody know? 2 years ago, the freaking Raiders quarterback. He was never heard of him. God, I had to find him on
Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell. Never heard of him. And that was that's who Brock Bowers had his rookie season with.
Yeah, 150 targets. Set the record for rookie receptions.
What is rookie season? Second year in. But anyway.
Aiden O'Connell.
That whole
yeah.
Yeah, Brock's second year was Aiden O'Connell. Like, if this whole thing can just
would have been Brock's first
elevate.
Year. Brock's second year was last year.
Yes.
Okay,
you are throwing me off with
my bad.
Crazy Doctor Strange timeline math right now.
Well, it's Casey's got there's a screen up here that but that's okay. That's
2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, those are Georgia stats. 23, 22, 21.
Yeah, college stats.
Okay, college stats underneath the yep.
I don't have anything. Jason's in control, so that's nice.
I got you. Anyway, Brock Bowers is a level to him, another level.
Yes,
and he's just been doing it in slop.
Right. Well, so here's the thing. Like you just mentioned it. If as long as I'm drawing a blank on the Kubiak. As long as Kubiak isn't coordinator face and he can manage to run a team whilst calling the offense,
right?
Like, what that sets up for is that you don't have to play the game that the Eagles are playing. You don't have to play the game the Chargers are playing. You don't have to play the game your offensive coordinator and your offensive scheme is the head coach. This is an incredible advantage for Brock Bowers, as long as they can figure the quarterback out, right?
If it works,
and as long as he can actually be a head coach. And it's just something that doesn't get talked about enough with certain teams, but like, coordinators come and go, and it is what it is, and it's just like the good teams just get cherry picked from every which way, and nobody really talks about it. But this has been the advantage for San Francisco from an offensive standpoint, but been a disadvantage from anybody under that. And defensively, same thing. They all leave because they get opportunities. But Philly's unfortunately either fired or hired somebody as a head coach somewhere else, and the great part for Philly is as long as Fangio wants to stay there and they're all cool with him, then he's not getting another coach. But we've seen that with Spagnuolo, the defense for the Chiefs, right? And like the Chiefs have hit the nail, have drilled it because they got Andy Reid and they got Spagnuolo. So like they're just sitting there like, yeah, everything we got's pretty much staying in house. You're just gonna, lose some dumb shit underneath us. And Andy's kind of giving up play calling or whatever, at least, but theoretically how they're running things is not going to be, change anyway. So anyway, I got way off topic. Chev, I feel like you're about to come in with something real quick, and then we'll get off of Brock Bowers.
I think that this is, you could get multiple of the Trey McBride outcomes out of Bowers if they decide to kind of go away from the Shanahan model of just, hey, we're going to use this dude. Like, he doesn't have the superpower that Kittle has in blocking, which works better for us for fantasy because they're just going to use him like a slot receiver. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was the film watchers guy or somebody else just breaking out how the evolution of Brock Bowers in 2025 was that him and Puka Nacua were basically running the same routes, the same route concepts, like same depth, everything. So if he's just a glorified slot receiver who has one of the highest football IQs and is a freak athlete, what are we doing? Like, this is a ridiculous ceiling.
What are we doing?
Yeah. How did we
get here?
Yeah. We got here because he only played 12 games.
I was just doing Tucker Carlson.
I know.
What are we doing?
But seriously though, like if he turned in 2 years, if he turned in both years like 2024, like do you think that there's a in tight end premium, anything above 0.5, he should probably be the number one overall pick?
Well, somebody just said 1.2. I took him at 4. Bro, take him at 1. I don't even give a shit. What? Once if you're anything past 1 point premium, you could just take Brock Bowers first. I got no arguments.
Yeah,
none.
Like there's and then do whatever you have to do to try to go get
another one
too. Yeah. Like because we talked about this on a live a long time ago. If it's start 2 tight end, there's zero chance that either one of those dudes should make it out of the first 5 picks.
Start 2 or better than 1.5 premium. This is all music to my ears. I've been Brock Bowers as early as you want to take him for 2 years now. Before last year, before the wheels fell off, before the wheels started turning down the road, it was the preseason, the first snap. Geno Smith takes a snap and throws a back shoulder 20 yards down the field to Brock Bowers lined up outside. That's all that's what you need to know about Brock Bowers and how he's even that offense, and Chip Kelly gets canned as how bad it became. But like they were like, yeah, this guy's our unicorn. First snap of the preseason, it's a 20-yard back shoulder to Brock Bowers down the sidelines. Like he ain't a tight end, Bo.
No.
He's he's a poor man's Calvin Johnson. He's Calvin Johnson. He's a white, little bit slower Calvin Johnson.
A lot of bit slower, but
yeah, right. I mean, Calvin was running 4.3, but
a lot of bit smaller too.
Brock can do a standing backflip.
Now that I was not aware of. So in the
random
freak athletic, the random freak athletic skills that you have as a
I need to Google that.
Oh, I've seen it.
I need to see it.
Yeah, I paid him to come to my birthday party.
Did you dress up like a clown? Or did you just dress up? Did he just
dress up however I needed to get Brock Bowers to come to my birthday party?
Did he just dress up?
I will dress up like a clown. Brock Bowers can do a standing backflip. Backflip. I've seen it. I
Googled it just to make sure.
Now that
I didn't want to be giving out. That's good info. Yeah. You can't be having that information.
Now that,
you want me to keep that quiet? That's just
no. I mean, I don't know.
Now, like you do a standing backflip, you can no longer be sneakily athletic. You got to just be athletic.
Oh
yeah, you don't have a lunch pail or a hard hat anymore.
Yeah,
The only reason we still use sneakily is because of that headshot. That headshot, just
Oh,
yeah,
he looks like he
either go to Turkey or shave it, dog.
He looks like Hunter Renfro's younger older brother.
Younger older brother.
Yeah,
we don't know how old he is.
Yeah.
Oh, Brock Bowers, man. That's somebody just said if you have Trey McBride, would you try to tier up to Brock Bowers? I don't know that that's necessarily necessary. Unless you got crazy just amounts of indispensable just things to get rid of to try to do that. But I mean, the outcomes are probably similar enough that you don't have to do anything. The play, like you said, if you're in a premium situation, is to try to go get both of them, and then, just kind of,
just
what do I have to sack around?
Yeah, what do I have to give you? What do I have to give you to go from like I'm going to take Brock Bowers 1-4? What do I have to give you to get back into the first round? I got to give you my second round pick plus, some draft picks. Like, what's that going to look like once you're in Thunderdome and the points are getting scored and both of those dudes are getting 150 targets? Like, you've basically got a super powered roster if you don't fuck up the rest of your draft.
Yeah. All right. I got a question or two from Patreon. Then we're going to talk about some buckets here because I wanted to get back to the buckets for a second. And then we have some questions, some paid questions. We have a live roster review that you can grab for $20 while we're on here. And then we have another couple of other questions to answer as well. But Shane on here, he's in a startup asking a question. He said, these later round running backs, Price, Tootin, Swift, Warren, Monty, are testing my brain, but great stabs if you're light on RB to start off. It kind of depends on your particular situation in the league, but in a vacuum, I hesitantly like Price the best, and I almost always see them go in that order. But part of me wants Swift at the top, followed by Tootin and then Price. Would love your thoughts. So basically, rank these players essentially in Tootin, Swift, or Price, Tootin, Swift, Warren, and Monty. Warren, I'm assuming, is
Jaylen Warren.
So that's he'd probably be last for me.
Price, Tootin, Warren, Swift, Monty.
Yeah, Jason, this is a Patreon question, so it's not in there. Price, Tootin, Swift, Warren, Monty.
I assume this is dynasty value.
Yep. He's basically in a startup and wanted to know kind of what would be the order there.
Well, shit, let's go look at the ranking.
Well, right this minute, Tootin's the most expensive.
I think Price is the most expensive.
Is he? It'd be close. I would say I'd pass on him being the most expensive. If we're talking about opportunity costs as well. You're in a startup and you're drafting one of these guys. If this is running backs you're looking at, did I miss something in the question? Would this be his first running back drafted?
I think this is RB2 would essentially be.
Okay. Well, if
he's just asking about the later round running backs, how would you order them basically?
Okay. All right. Just
Price, Tootin, Monty, Warren.
Price.
Sorry. Swift's in there. I missed Swift.
Yeah, probably Price, and then Swift, and then we got to give Tootin a chance, but I would probably want Price and Swift first, and just in case it don't work out for Tootin. We've seen fast running backs that can't see the hole, right? So if it don't work out for Tootin, that's going to be a
Here's the thing. If you're in a startup and Price is on the board, I think Price is probably the most expensive, probably has the most value right now. He's got a little bit of juice.
Draft
so I have no problem taking Price first, and then just if I want to keep him cool, if I don't, I can work a deal somewhere, I'm sure. Jason's pulling up the ADP right now.
Yeah, good. I love this graphic right here, Jason. Good call. So there's Price up there. Price. Tootin's not too far behind him. The next round, that's going that way. So Tootin's 5 picks behind him. Yeah, so I would definitely be okay taking Price at that spot. But so that's Price in the 7th round. Like I wouldn't be forcing this. Maybe is Price is ahead of Higgins and Parker Washington and guys like that. Like I might just want to keep stacking players that I know is good, right? And then maybe you go Monty, and then you go if you like Jaylen Brown, You know, I mean, Jaylen Warren, Zach Charbonnet in the 11th, right? Kick the can down the road for first couple weeks, but when if you got Price and Charbonnet together, that's a backfield, you know?
Yeah. What do you think, Chev?
Yeah, unfortunately.
There's two guys in here who Chev is just not interested in.
I'm not, dude. I'm not into Tootin at all. I'm not into Price at all. So it's just not going to be
weekend or not if I'll be into Tootin.
I could get down with I could get down with just waiting a little bit later and getting the 1 or 2 years out of Monty, the last year in Chicago, potentially out of Swift. I can't get with I don't know what the hell's going to happen with Jaylen Warren. Like, it's just him and Rico Dowdle just being choose your own adventure, because you got to pick. If you pick one, you got to pick both, just because they're going to be split. You know, they're going to split assets after this year. So
yeah, I've got Swift and Tootin right back to back, and I got Tootin one spot ahead, but I would most likely take Swift in a startup if I was counting on having to be like, hey, I'm starting this guy, and I got a lineup I like, and I'm ready to go. So I would go Price, Swift, Tootin, Monty, Warren, which Price, I think Swift, is what you said, BigCo.
Warren. Yeah, I can agree with that. I guess I'm not reaching for any of these guys. Like, if you have some of the best values in the draft right here are not running backs in these rounds, right? I
said screw them all. I took Harvey in the 10th. So
perfect.
I think he did that.
Yeah, okay, so he's already past the 10th. So there's no reason to talk about those guys up there then. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. All right. I can get down with that.
Yeah. All right. I believe he may have had the same Shane, who's in the chat now. He had another question a couple days ago that I didn't see and we didn't answer. But he said QJ's been climbing, but Reed is now on the move. Who is your preference? So Jaden Reed or QJ right now? I think the hotness right now is QJ, right?
You asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I think
you might want to start with BigCo.
Is QJ not 2 or 3 rounds ahead of Jaden Reed though?
I would assume so. I think he's just saying that they were kind of generally moving up there. But
yeah, at call,
Quentin Johnson has been shooting up the board for sure. They were probably a lot closer in last month's ADP overall, but I feel like Quentin Johnson has taken a good step up here. Let's see. QJ was in the top 100, I feel like, just as of recently.
Yeah.
Not quite. It doesn't look like, but
I mean, if this is the delta on the price, I would have to go Jaden Reed here. Like 27 spots.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 46 is criminal for Jaden Reed.
104 for Quentin Johnston in PPR and 131 for Reed.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to go Jaden Reed.
Greg says he's selling both.
Yeah.
I can't abide by that.
It is what it is. I mean, I could understand why you would want to sell both. There's some certain insecurities. That's just not my favorite way to play Dynasty. Like, I'm in it to like, hey, I think both of those guys are interesting, and I thought both of those guys were fun, fine players and have had points in their career where they were fun, fine players. If you could get good value for Quentin Johnson right now, I couldn't argue with you. And same with Jaden Reed, but I don't know how great I'm probably more so buying Reed.
Jaden Reed's at a really nice buy low right now.
But I could see that point of view there for sure. All right. Can't sell if there's no market for those dudes. Yeah. That costs. Shane likes Reed. I would rather have Tootin over Price. Feel like Price is having a rental car. Yeah, for me, it's just that I think there's just enough people who really like Price and the situation and the capital and all these like shiny new toy. Whereas Tootin's, I feel like there's a bit more 50-50. Price, I'm sure she's like there is some 50-50 on it, but it just feels like it's a shiny new object, and I could find somebody, I think, easier in a league that likes Price and at least the idea of Price, easier than I can for Tootin at a bit better sell. So that's kind of why I would. That's gonna be my sneak out of that question.
No, in terms of just the player that's going to have the easiest sell value before the season starts, it's probably Price. And we're not even to the point where we've got training camp highlights to get all horned up about yet. So, we've been in male pattern rookie horniness. Now we're going to be in male pattern training camp horniness, training camp highlight horniness. So if he does anything cool in training camp, everybody's just gonna lose their mind. So
yeah, I think short term, obviously. Go ahead. Sorry, Chev. I thought you were done.
You're solid. I mean, just the point being that you can probably get way more of a return for Jadarian Price right now than you could for any of those other players.
I mean, Tootin has his cult following. There's no doubt about it. The thing is, even short term, and this week's rumblings out of Jaguars camp about Tootin, some negativity there. Like, I'm not even worried about that. It's just like, apparently Chris Rodriguez is a thing, and there's nobody. I like the other running back on the Seahawks, but he's got a torn ACL. I like Sharps. I think Sharps is a really solid running
on track.
Back. But yeah, on track to miss the first 8 games, and
I don't know if he is.
He's definitely not starting right away. I'm just like, to Chev's point, like preseason, week 1, week 2, week 3, like there's no chance that Sharps is 100%, and you got a first round draft pick running back in there and a play action heavy offense versus the Jags. Who knows what kind of X's and O's Liam Cohen's going to be drawing up on his second season, and they got a couple of running backs that are at least one that the coach likes other than Tootin. And you can't say that for the Seahawks at week 1, right? So if you're buying the hold forever, maybe if Tootin's your guy. But he just unproven kind of goes synonymous with Tootin right this minute.
Yeah.
Obviously, Price hadn't played a game, but like the atmosphere, they're a running team, play action.
We've also lost. I feel like that offense is going to could potentially struggle a bit out of the gate. Seattle.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with my argument of like, there's enough people who are into the situation with Price because of just volume and what he's not thinking about any of that. So that's fine with me. Somebody here said Warren Swift, Monty old. Like I get Monty's old. Like, and again, if you're building the production struggle team, then I don't want to draft any of those guys. But if you're drafting a team to win, like I think Monty's probably going to be pretty versatile for you as an RB2 or a flex for a lot of the year here. So
yeah, but he was 2 rounds later too, so like that's the value of Monty in a startup, right? In Dynasty. Like he's freaking 5th round right now in best ball redraft, right? But like that's in a Dynasty league where he's in the 12th round. That's a beautiful running back to be able to pick up. And I think as we get closer to the season, he'll probably move up to the 10th round, just when the redraft, stats and projections really come through, and you're like, well, I can't, even if he's old, I can't pass that. He's not that old, so I think he's a 10th rounder by the time it all shakes out in startup land.
Yeah, I think he's 9th right now.
Oh, is he? My bad. We just showed. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Sharps was 11th. In my mind, I had Monty down in the 11th. Oh, he's in 9th round. Well, he's definitely not going backwards. He's only going to the cheerleaders are out for Monty's seasons ahead. Bell cow usage. Yeah. We've changed that. I think he's going up to the 8th round then. I think the drumbeat gets a little bit better as we enter prime startup season.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into a couple of questions, and then if we got some time, we'll end with buckets, because I really want to get back to the bucket talk here, because I really had a lot of fun with that. But all right, let's jump into Ollie 26, old 26, whatever we got here. He's a Patreon homie. Been in some of the FFD leagues. He said, I've done a few trades in this league. Kind of all in, just wondering if you had any advice on moves to make with the current roster. Cheers. Love listening to you guys on all my runs. So
nice.
Basically, shout out. I believe he's in Scotland or England.
What's his team name?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't see it anymore. Oh, you know what? I can expand the
tight end
details.
Tight end
you. Yeah.
Sorry, I got to pull it up. My bad.
Yeah. Tight end you. All right. So he has Hurts and Stafford. He's got, let's check the deets real quick here on this.
Good call.
He's got start 3 wide receivers, tight end premium, 2 flex, super flex. So start 3 wide receivers. Pretty
no 27 picks. Traded them all.
Right, which is, probably why he's got the middling tag there, because this is not giving you any ranking for your picks. So just understanding how the system, explaining how the system works a little bit of why, he might have a good team, but it might say middling because he doesn't have any value in the pick side. So he's got Hurts and Stafford. He's got Geno Smith behind them. And then he's got Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Derrick Henry. He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Olave, Lemon, Michael Wilson, Sutton, Romeo Doubs, Godwin. So depth in the receiver room and start 3 wide receivers. That's good. And he's got Brock Bowers and, kind of nothing else to speak of, but he does have Brock backup. Raritan's fun. JT Sanders is my dog. We'll see. Still has his 28s and his 29s, but no 27s to speak of. So it's just a general question of like, what do you, is there anything that you potentially could see him needing to do here, fellas?
QB2 is a problem long term, obviously, with Stafford. And you got no picks next year. You're studded out at the top. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, St. Brown, and Bowers, straight across the top. So you're gonna put up some points every week, but you're gonna need your DeAndre Swift and Derrick Henry to stay healthy to get you to a championship this year. That's for sure.
Well, that's kind of that's the rub, right? Like you are running on real thin margins. If something happens to Saquon, if something happens to Swift, like what's our plan of attack there? You don't need to do it right now, but you need to start plotting out in your mind who do I turn to? Who do I turn to try to get some running back help, to try to keep this thing on the rails in case I lose 1 or 2 guys. And you got to do it with these roster pieces because you don't have 27 picks.
Yeah, you better hope your attrition doesn't hit your tight end or your quarterback, because if so, now you're going to have to unload Barkley and Derrick Henry and Swift in a hurry. So you might go from that's when you go all in and you got old running backs and you got, shaky QB 2 and 3. Nothing shaky about Stafford, but he's, old.
Sure.
Right. So like, it's freaking MVP. Like he could come out and be rolling, but if something goes, if he gets hurt, then, you're losing QB 2 points. And we saw how fast the rug got pulled out from the Geno Smith guys last year. Geno Smith may be a quality starter for the Jets this year, but he could also, lose a job halfway through to somebody, right? Geno Smith could interception his way right to the bench if it doesn't work out. I think if things don't go right for you, you're tearing down off of St. Brown. I wouldn't want to be tearing down off of Brock Bowers, but you could get an absolute haul to do it. You could go from Brock Bowers to, Tucker Kraft or Tyler Warren or something like that. I wouldn't want to fall too far, but you could restock the cupboard by coming down off of a big dog. You got a couple of them, but if something doesn't go right for you, that's when you push the chips in. Mekhi Lemon, he's a beautiful name to see on the bench, but I don't expect him to be, pumping out points for you this year. Michael Wilson, absolute monster down the stretch last year, crowded all of a sudden. And quarterback questions, are they going to run the ball with Jeremiah Love more often? If Marvin Harrison's healthy, et cetera, et cetera.
You're going to be leaning on Sutton and Godwin for this lineup, for your third.
Right. Chris Godwin is your lineup savior, really, right here. He's the guy that's just going to be an anchor for you that you probably not even if you put him out of your. One of the worst things that happened to this team is that A.J. Brown did go to the Patriots because Romeo Doubs was about to be an every week starter for you. Yes. And that A.J. Brown to the Patriots edition really pulled Romeo Doubs right back to the bench until we see what's up.
Yeah. So we leave the 28s. We don't want to go into pushing any 28s, right? Because we're already old in some facets. We want to leave those. We don't want to touch those. So to me, you could look at this team and say, hey, you got a chance. You certainly could be like, hey, we need to retool. You wouldn't need to go to full on rebuild mode. You have some parts and pieces. You could flip this thing around pretty quick. But to me, you go into the season because if Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry are going to stay relatively healthy and have good seasons, they're going to drag you into the top 4, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
with St. Brown and Brock Bowers,
right,
and Jalen Hurts getting rushing TDs,
right. So but the luxury you sort of have is you get to test that market because nobody's going to be that into buying Saquon and Derrick Henry right now anyway. And so, so if things go awry for you, then you unload Barkley, you unload Henry, you unload Stafford, and you try to flip this thing around and maybe you kind of sit out for a year and you don't have any 27 picks. Maybe you can get some back with those guys, but you wait into that 28 year and then try to retool this thing because you still have, some good players throughout there. It's not a complete, I think with those guys and with taking the opportunity to try to go win money this year, somebody will want them if your team goes awry, most likely in 8 weeks in or whatever. So.
Agreed. If Saquon's not the reason your team, if Saquon doesn't get hurt or Henry doesn't get hurt, you're probably going to be good. But, if Jalen Hurts goes down or Brock Bowers goes down and you lose points at one of those positions and you're just like, all right, well, these 2 or 3 other teams are running hot, I don't really have a chance. Now you might have to make some moves. The one move I would definitely make is I would be looking to get, if Geno Smith for some reason can look capable as a quarterback, even though you need a QB3, he ain't getting any younger either. I would probably take a shot on a quarterback needy team in the first couple of weeks if Geno Smith looks decent, just to get something, just trying to get, maybe a 2 and a 3 out of somebody. Just kind of, you got no picks next year. You're sitting there running on empty in the picks. If I can get a 2 and a 3 for Geno after 2 or 3 weeks and he looks all right, because that's what Geno does. He looks all right in a new spot, and and then maybe not in 6 weeks. And it's maybe the lot that happened last year is not Geno. I had high hopes for Geno as my QB3 in a lot of spots last year,
I thought Geno's going to be fine this year.
All right, good to
go. Just fine.
Yeah. Well, fine. If fine's all you need is a QB3, and he was almost left for dead, right?
Yeah.
I think, you hit the nail on the head. You got a fun meter for us today?
A fun meter?
Maybe not on this one.
Maybe not on this one. There's not a lot. There's not a lot we can do with no picks.
No picks, and the fun meter would be how much
you need to keep it conservative on this meter right here.
Right. Well, how you could tear down from Brock Bowers
or St. Brown.
That's not the fun meter. That's the
anti-fun
meter. Yeah.
I know, right? Casey said Hurts, Stafford, and Geno sandpaper hand job. That's not fun. For those listening on the podcast, he does have Justin Fields and Jalen Milroe down there. I love seeing Fields and Milroe on my benches. Obviously,
sure.
What I paid for Fields in years past, I don't love that. But like those two guys could come in and start a game in the NFL and start racking up fantasy points in a hurry with their legs. So I like that. And basically, what I would tell this guy right now is, if somebody comes a knocking and there's deals to be made, don't use Fields and Milroe as a very cheap, non-existent value throw in a trade and just lose a rushing upside quarterback for no reason. We haven't even seen Milroe on the NFL field yet, but every time Justin Fields takes the field, he scores fantasy points, no matter how good or bad it looks. So neither one of those quarterbacks is leaving my roster. Nobody's going to pay what they should be worth or what they could be. Nobody's going to pay you enough to get rid of them. So don't just throw them in and say, somebody goes, well, I got to do this. I'll do this if you throw in, a quarterback, unless it's like a really good trade for you. Unless you're like, I got to do this, so I'll give you Milroe or Fields.
Yeah. The one thing, I don't necessarily believe in Michael Wilson being just anything near what we saw, what the ceiling was last year generally. So like if I could move him for, pieces that are kind of near, like, right now, if we're looking at PPR crowdsource, like Michael Wilson is near somebody like an Omar Cooper or a Denzel Boston. Like if I could move him for that, I would,
Right. That gives you a late
absolutely.
first. If you can get a first round equivalent value for
Ricky Pearsall,
Michael Wilson. Yes. Can you take Michael Wilson and Geno Smith and find a team that needs a quarterback and get a 27 first out of them?
Probably not. But people, I think a lot of the rebuilders have a bunch of picks, so that's
it's worth a shot.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to the next question here. We got we have one. We have an actual live roster review to do that was purchased. This guy basically purchased the live roster review, just didn't click the button. So he's got one coming to him, but we're going to help him out here. He says, I'm in a full rebuild, positioning myself for the 101. I have 427 firsts and likely the 201. The 3 picks that aren't mine are likely from playoff contenders, so I expect them to be mid-late. Probably 2 years away from competing. I have depleted my running backs. My best one is Jonathan Brooks, the current champ. Omaha Sundogs wants a Dunze and is interested in both Shuck and Mendoza. We're negotiating a package of picks that includes multiple first and second. Should I trade Rome or keep him as part of my rebuild? We are non-superflex 0.5 PPR. Start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. I can see all that. We can pull all this up, so I don't have to read all that aloud right now. But he's happy to have my questions answered via email or text. So, but let's jump in. So he is get to the chopper.
To the chopper, do it now. Do it. Shut up. Do it now.
So he has Mendoza, Shuck, Mayfield, Watson, Tua, Jonathan Brooks, Emmanuel Wilson, LaQuinn Allen, Trevor Etienne, or Etienne, or whatever you want to call him, Malik Davis, Seth McGowan, Egbuka, Tate, Rome, KC, Concepcion, Trey Harris, Pat Bryant, Torrey Horton, A.D. Mitchell, Malik Washington, Isaiah Bond. This is a great rebuilding team. Eli Stowers, Jawan Johnson. Maybe you need to sell Jawan. Arroyo, Barner, Darnell Washington, and Michael Mayer. And then he has, like you said, a bunch of firsts. He's got 4 firsts.
Yeah, 4 firsts and 27 is what he said.
He's got another first in 28 and an extra first in 29 too. So he's got them kind of spread out already. So you're in good position. You've got some fun young quarterbacks. You've got Baker Mayfield on the roster. I mean, Deshaun Watson and Tua both could easily pop back with some value. You've done the right thing of getting rid of all the running backs. Brooks is a fun pop that you could kind of do whatever you want with right now. You could sell before anything happens, or you could wait and see if it goes even higher. You're in a good position there. And then Egbuka, Tate, Rome Odunze, Casey Concepcion. So his pointed question there was selling Rome Odunze and or Mendoza or Shuck. What do you guys think about all of that right there? In as far as what his team is, where he's going, would you guys be willing to sell those guys, or do you just kind of put your head down and say, "Hey, I'm kind of in an okay position. I don't really need to get. How many picks do we need here?" Or what do you guys think?
Well, let me hit the part of the question real quick, Chev. And so he said, "Should I trade for?" He said there was a package with multiple firsts for Mendoza and Shuck, and probably some details multiple we don't know
firsts
about.
And seconds, yeah.
And he said, should I be trying to get 28 and 29 firsts since I already have 4 27s? And to me, the answer is no. I'll take all the 27s I can get right now. He already, like you said, he has 2 28s and 2 29s, so that's awesome. He's got a ton of first round picks. If the 28s and 29s come around super cheap, sure, I'll take more. But like the 27 class right now, I'll go ahead and if you got 4, 6 the merrier, right? It's a 1 quarterback league. So, and half PPR, which does give a little bit more value back to the quarterback since everybody's not, and I don't think it said anything about tight end premium, right, Casey? So, with no tight end premium and only half PPR, that puts some power back into the quarterback's hands, but only need 1 of them. So, I mean, I'd have no problem hanging out with Baker and seeing what quarterback I could drum up later if he wants to give me multiple first and second round picks in a 1 quarterback league, Mendoza and Shuck's not going to go in the first round for me anyway. So like if I mean, you can find a way to find a quarterback in the first, and if you quarterback's going to come knocking on your door if you got 5 with all those first round picks you got, even just a small trade back, you'll be able to get a quarterback thrown into you somewhere.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chev.
Let me see here. So at 1 quarterback, so I wrote out a list of things that I would do with this team. If you trade Odunze to Sun Dogs, I would try to package Rome Odunze and Tyler Shuck to get up to Jaden Daniels. That doesn't work. I'd try to get a 2027 1 and Kyle Monungai to get Rome. Same dude has Rome. If you're punting to 2028, 2029, trying to clear the bottom of the bench out. Malik Washington, Horton, Adonai, Pat Bryant, draft capital in 2028. Wait till they're scoring points and then pounce on the opportunity to unload those guys. The 2027 running back class looks pretty good, so you could feasibly restock your running back room because that seemed to be a concern. I think he can only have 3 quarterbacks and 8 receivers. So Baker Mayfield's in play to try to get out of here. Try to get him out of there too. I think Tua is another in-season move, along with Deshaun Watson if he ends up starting. But your 8 receivers that we're looking at, like, that's. Am I mistaken? Did I not read that? That you only have 8 receivers?
Yeah. Right now in the off season they're expanded, but he said you can only keep 8 receivers and 3 quarterback max.
Yeah, so 4 of those guys are non-negotiable: Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, Rome Odunze, and KC. You got 427 first. I'm assuming some of those will be fairly early, so you're looking at trying to get potentially Jeremiah Smith or Cam Coleman or something like that. So that's 5 to 6 spots, and then the other 2 picks, if you're going to pick those and not move back, you'll get your 2 running backs if it's Kwan Lacey, Ahmad Hardy, Jaden Ball, whatever. So I'm chilling right now. If you know your team's gonna suck, let your team suck. But let's ethically do this. Let's go ahead and get Baker Mayfield off the thing. If you want to get a little bit stronger, the fun meter thing, for me would be trying to trade Tyler Shuck and Rome Odunze in a single quarterback to get Jaden Daniels because of that Konami code upside. That's just what I thought about. And then ultra fun PPS fun meter. Go get Parker Washington in a 27 first for Rome Odunze.
Yes, just listening to you guys hit it and talk about the different things and then all the kind of bits and pieces that he had with it, being the 1 quarterback, like I have no problem shipping off Shuck and Mendoza. I like the idea of trying to get, up to somebody like a Jaden Daniels or somebody who can give me, like, if I want to do something with my quarterback, and I like the idea of trying to get one of the elite ones with rushing out, like, Dart to Neighbors here has Herbert and Dart. Maybe he would be down to get, the Allen guys says the Allen guys team isn't very good. It's pretty poor. Do you want Allen right now? Probably, right? I mean, I don't know why not. The Drake May team's fine. I don't know who'd be willing to give up one of these good quarterbacks. The Lamar Jackson team's got Christian McCaffrey and DeAndre Swift. He's got an okay team. So basically, if I'm doing anything with a quarterback outside of trying to upgrade other positions, I'm just trying to figure out how I can get an elite one that has a big rushing upside. And then as far as all the other things, like, I don't really want to trade Rome Odunze unless, like you said, it's really, really trying to pair up like a quarterback in Rome and tearing up the position to a higher level there, right? So, I think I don't mind any, like, to me, in 1 quarterback with the rebuild, whatever, like, if you want to trade 2 of those guys of Shuck, Mendoza, and Baker Mayfield, it doesn't matter to me. Like, whatever. I'm fine with rolling into the next season with one of those guys. If you got a bunch of different picks, like, you can find it. You can draft another quarterback, or you can pick up another quarterback. So I don't put a huge emphasis on one quarterback until I can get up to the elite level of quarterback on my quarterback position. So I don't mind. I don't care who it is, whoever you can get the most for. I trade 2 of them. That's fine. Or one and something else to move up into elite level. You guys got anything else here, BigCo?
Yeah, the guy wanting to do this trade with you, I reread the question. So it says the package of multiple firsts, the package including multiple firsts and seconds. That is Rome and Dunze and those 2 quarterbacks being Shuck and Mendoza. So yeah, I would, again, he's got Baker May. I would trade Mendoza and Shuck in a package with multiple firsts and seconds. But if you throw in Rome in there, I agree with Chev. I'd try to get the Parker Washington back. But the guy has he has the Jaden Daniels and he has Dak Prescott. So like, I'll give you those 2 younger quarterbacks. Give me Dak back, so I have somebody who's legit. I'm not I don't have a problem trying to go up and get a better quarterback, but like I'm not necessarily trying to do that right. I'm not trying to do that first, especially right now before this. Like you said, your team's going to suck anyway. Like Chev said, let it suck. Let your 27 first be as good as it can be next year, as far as your team losing and being a better pick. Don't go get a max out quarterback right now. You do that next year in the offseason when you have all these when you're flush with picks everywhere, and maybe you don't even get a max out quarterback, but like you could make some moves and but yeah, I would definitely be trying to get as many firsts and seconds as you could for the Mendoza Shuck package. If Rome has to stay in there and you get back Parker, that's fine. If you take Rome out and get as much as you can for those 2 quarterbacks, get Dak back, have Baker and Dak. Maybe you can get something for Baker or Dak from somebody else with a quarterback injury. Just keep punting. Get any value you can out of that quarterback position right now. You don't even need to be scoring points there.
That's what I'm saying. You can have any 2 of them. I'll figure it out later.
Mm-hmm. But because it's one quarterback and you got you got so many picks. Just keep adding to. I would definitely take that guy up.
Yeah, he can only keep 3 quarterbacks. So,
right, which will bring you into make it easier for you to get one later.
Yeah,
nobody's going to be a stock up and have 4 or 5 of them. That roster churn helps you out in this situation even more.
Yeah, you're going to come in here. You're going to move some quarterbacks. If you can add another pick or 2, which I'm not. Well, I guess what I started off saying is like I'm not hard and fast of saying like that's my motivation in trades now is to get for sure be just getting picks. If you can get them, great. But like I'm fine with like getting combinations of picks with an elite player, moving up into elite player territories there. Obviously, it's great to keep stacking firsts in 27 and 28. I have no problem with that at all. I might even try to be like, hey, can I get some 2s in 27 and whatnot? But my original thought process was like, that's not my end goal. Every trade now is to continue to just get as many firsts as possible. It's great.
Yeah, I didn't mean it like that. But
I know what you're saying.
In a 1 quarterback league, for some reason the guy has Dak. The guy has Jaden Daniels. He doesn't need either. He doesn't quote unquote. Obviously, Jaden Daniels got hurt last year. Maybe he's doesn't like that. Maybe he's not a Cowboys fan and he hates Dak. For whatever reason, he has interest in your quarterbacks and he's willing to part with some very valuable picks. Sure. Right? You don't get this opportunity often in a 1 quarterback league to sell non-Josh Allen type guys. If it was prime Patrick Mahomes or if it was guys that for Mendoza's a rookie and he's not like coming out with some massive rushing upside. And Tyler Shuck is, I'm getting on the Tyler Shuck and Saints bandwagon quickly and often here, but
right,
first round picks, take them.
You also need to be throwing Juwan Johnson into the offer to that guy because he's got Kittle, which could be good, and he's got Chig, which I like, which is fine. But like, I'd be just package Juwan Johnson into these trades too, just because he doesn't fit what you're doing necessarily right now, and he just came off a great year. You just got to be like, I know maybe you don't want him, but look at his stats.
Right.
You know. So he's one of those players that if you didn't have him, you don't understand that he was, I don't know, what do you have, 100 targets last year?
Yeah.
I
think it was like, basically he was this year's Jonnu Smith, but he only scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily expect that to happen again, but always a solid player there. So Chev, anything else before we move on to another roster review here?
No, that was pretty much it. I wanted to, I spent some time on that one just because I was like, man, that's an interesting thing. And then the limits on the positions made it even more interesting. So yeah, I needed to parse through that one before the show, well before the show started, so I could have just not freeze up and have some actual thoughts for that one.
And he's a Titans fan, so
yeah,
So all right, we got Love Machine coming in. He says, "What's up, fellas? Enjoy the show. Thought it would be fun to see how you guys would approach improving my roster. Our league started last year, and I got ravaged with injuries and decided to go the tank youth movement route. After a flurry of off-season trades, I'm very happy where my team sits. My question is, have I gone too young in my rebuild? Am I locking myself out of contention for the next year or so? Other than that, my other concern with this roster is probably my RB depth after my starters. Hoping one of the young flyers hits and can give me some solid depth behind Genty and Love. Also, I know Chev is going to tell me to trade Travis Hunter. Can't do it, big dog. Just got him for a late 28 second. It's time to buy low. Get on the hype train. Appreciate the insight, fellas. Keep doing good work. So Love Machine, he's coming in here with a he bought the live roster review. So we're gonna give him good 10 minutes here, and he gets the sheet to go along with this as well. We're gonna give Jared the sheet too. He just didn't click the right buttons there. But again, this is the automated roster review you get in the $15 tier that you can break it down with. And so this will give you just kind of all sorts of insights of what to do with this team. And how to go about it. So, boys, should we jump into this one?
Both feet.
10-team league. 10-team league.
Yeah, I was like, this team is
team league.
Awesome.
All right. So we've got a 10-team league. Love Machine has Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward. He's got Genty and Love, and then this is where he doesn't like his depth behind those running backs. So he's got Brooks, Monungai, Charbonnet, Chuba. So he's got Brooks and Chuba, like that. Krosky Merritt. I love it. Krosky Merritt, Claiborne, Mike Washington. So he's got Mike Washington and Genty. I like that. Trey Benson down there, which has gone to 0, but I love having Trey Benson down there. Neighbors, Drake London. I mean, seriously, they drafted Love like he's gonna get another shot somewhere. He's got to be healthy. He's got Neighbors, Drake London, Egbuka, Carnell Tate. I mean, obviously this is a 10-man team, but that's an excellent, fun start, especially your second year in, and you had a bummer of a first year. He's got Luther Burden, Jordan Addison, Jaden Higgins, Josh Downs, Jaden Reed, Travis Hunter, sell him, Cyrus Allen. He's got Sadiq and Brock Bowers. He doesn't have any 27 first, but he does have a 27 second. And his 27 second is from Hooker with the Penix. So just well named team. All right, boys.
I'm over there in Bangkok, huh?
So what's your general sentiments here?
First of all, let me boost this guy's head up on the running back depth. Like, it does suck that you don't have any 27 first, but you've pushed some chips in the table here. But like, to get Genty and Love on a team, that's hard to do. That's fun. And you got quarterbacks, right? You got 3 quarterbacks. Cam Ward being your 3, I love that. Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward. You got 3 quarterbacks. You got 3 startable quarterbacks. Love that. And Jaden Daniels is tier downable if you needed to, right? Jaden Daniels is up there in the value peak. But Genty and Love, studs. Jonathan Brooks, sure. His 2 ACLs, not fun. But Jonathan Brooks and Chuba combo, fun. And Chuba could easily be startable for you if Jonathan Brooks comes out and looks healthy. That could muddy up your startability, but that's a good problem to have for your dynasty team right here. And so you're like, all right, well, maybe I don't have one of these guys bell cowing me right now, but if Jonathan Brooks could come back and not be a zero, that'd be fantastic for you. Sharps coming back from a knee. I already said I like him tonight. He's a solid running back in the league. Never a fumble. Kyle Monungai, JC Krosky Merritt could easily be like a surprise post hype sleeper surprise week one. Get a hit the corner one time and bust a 30-yard run. Everybody's like, oh my God, see how good he is, And then Mike Washington backing up Genty, love that. And Claiborne, probably not going to be hot and heavy early in the season, but I'm just like, to not have, yes, you don't have, a monster third running back. You don't have David Montgomery that feels like you can plug him in there every week, no matter what, for RB2 and maybe even some back in RB1 weeks. But like, you got 5 guys right there that could easily be startable if they get a little bit of luck, So It doesn't feel like it right this second. Like that's a deep, like stash running back kind of thing, but it's not even like the stash being like Claiborne, but like Jake Krosky Merritt, Chuba. This time last year, Chuba and Krosky Merritt both were getting the love, And 2 years ago, Jonathan Brooks as a rookie was getting all the love. Monungai gets plenty of love. Sharps, not a stud, but really, really good running back. So that was my first thing. He was hating on his running backs, but I'm like, dude, you're all right now.
What's your first instinct here, Chev?
You just got to grab the league by the horns and hump it into submission. This is buddy. This is a nice little squad from a value perspective. From a hey, I'm ready to play right now. I'm ready to win right now. So you could get off to a slow start, but this is one of those teams I feel like when we hit like week 12, you just start seeing your team just being at the top of the points scored. If you're on, the little thing that goes out in Sleeper, the top 3 teams in scoring every week, like you're consistently going to see your name there, in week, once week 10, 11, 12 hits. Once we get full speed, Malik Neighbors, this team is locked and loaded, ready to go. So if we're not there all the way in 2026, I look at 2027 and I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to be good to go.
Yeah, so exactly, Chev. This is a don't panic situation if things don't start off and you loot. Like BigCo, you talked about the Easton Superflex League. This to start, this is one of our leagues that we share with some of the home guys. More of a home style league for sure, but which is a lot of what you guys are all playing in for the most part, I'm assuming. But like
my buy-in's to $5,000.
I had plenty of leagues where it's like, and that's a good example where the year before I couldn't buy a win and I was just getting beat up, losing because I couldn't get the right combination of guys in, or I was playing the weekly high scorer or whatever it was. And then this year we bounce back and I run through the league pretty well. Right. I just feel like that's a good example of like how this can go. Like, maybe Love and Genty just can't get right at the same time and they're not scoring elite points, or Jaden Daniels and Trevor can't get right. And or Malik doesn't start off and you can't figure out who, whether Carnell Tate or Luther Burden should be in, at the right weeks, and all that stuff will eventually sort itself out. You got plenty of depth. You got plenty of like running backs, where you're like, hey, I don't have a lot of depth, but again, BigCo just went through it. Like you got some good parts and pieces. Would you guys would there be any approaches to trying to upgrade the depth of that running back room immediately of like, hey, do you take a Monungai and a Charbonnet and try to go get one more good, maybe slightly older player, or see what the threshold that you can get with 2 of those guys are? Well, this guy's got a pretty good team. I was gonna say like Bucky Irving right now, somebody whose value's down, but younger.
That's perfect for.
But this guy probably doesn't want to trade Bucky. But if you could trade like a Monungai or and Sharbs, or maybe Jonathan Brooks and Monungai, I don't know that you maybe you don't want to trade Jonathan Brooks because he's a lot of fun for you, and you have Chuba, so that's a nice escape hatch there. But just trying to find somebody like on that middle ground there who's, value down a little bit, but you still like a lot right now. Like, I mean, maybe here's a rebuilder. They got Javonte Williams. Like, he could be a good third for your team. It's not sexy, but
but you
might be able to move Monungai for maybe almost straight up to a rebuilder for Javonte.
That's those are the ones that it doesn't feel sexy. You're gonna put a poll on Twitter and people are gonna be like, oh, I would rather have Kyle Monungai because
Swift is leaving and he's gonna be the guy, which he probably won't be.
Right. Yeah. Like it's there. I feel like there's a very minuscule chance they actually give him the chance. Like, he doesn't get the Chase Brown run out. I don't think he does. That's my personal opinion.
I don't think that's what Ben Johnson wants to do anyway with a running back room.
No, we've literally never seen him do it. Like, he's never just, hey, here's 350 touches, bro. Go have fun. So I'm looking at Too Lucky right here. Too Lucky 12 is classified as a rebuilder. He's got a bunch of first round picks. That Monungai, maybe not Sharps, but Monungai should tickle his pickle. And you should be able to do something. Like, maybe Monungai, I feel like it'd be selling real low on Jordan Addison, but you could get Monungai up out of there and maybe a Jordan Addison for a Kenneth Walker. Like, I don't
take more than that.
You think so?
Yep.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, okay, so let me ask you this. Would you be, we talked about a dude who's a prick in trade negotiations earlier this week, BigCo. Do you think that offer is offensive and he's not, we can at least like come back to the table, get him back to the table to get a counter in? Like, what are you looking at? What do I got to add to Monungai to get to Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say without any like 27 picks. You do have a second because of the way people, it's hard to find a combination of players to get a trade done and picks not be involved. And I mean, you do have a 27 too, but I don't.
I'm holding on to that.
If in your league, you need to find a Chicago Bears fan that believes in Monungai most likely to get peak value. And I think we all think Monungai is valuable until you try to. Casey and I have tried to trade him in FFPC and couldn't even get a counter, right, from a bunch of people, just rejections. And I don't think we were asking for too crazy stuff. It was like, where he goes in a dynasty startup, it's like, all right, well, if I'm trying to trade him for that type of value, Casey and I were getting shut down everywhere. And the reason why is because when you're in a startup, the running back confidence falls off. And you're like, all right, well, I know that Bears, Ben Johnson, Monungai, we saw him getting goal, we saw him getting some goal line work. We saw him getting plenty of actual between the tackles touches, and he looked pretty decent doing it, yada, yada, yada. And he's got a decent ADP. I wasn't getting similar trade value on Monungai. You might have to hold him and get into the season. Obviously, if you get a Swift injury, then now you got Monungai value spiking. Just one quick thing before we get another topic going and for what this guy might be doing. Your Luther Burden, Jaden Higgins, Josh Down, Jaden Reeds, Jordan Addison on the bench as wide receiver. Like, that's a okay wide receiver room.
Right.
But
okay.
Like,
no, dude, like that. Sell Travis Hunter.
His bench wide receivers, his bench wide receivers are really like stacked to be benches, right? Most leagues, most people have to have those guys in your starting lineup.
Yeah, most leagues, those bench spots are occupied by Kayshawn Booty.
Yeah. I got to interrupt you guys real quick. I got to do a read for Prize Picks. I do want to come back to this for a second because I just wanted to throw this out there about like a Walker trade or something before we move on. So if you haven't heard, we're really excited to be teaming up with Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. The app is really easy to use. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Prize Picks is available in most states, but not limited to California, Texas, and Florida. It's available in beautiful sunny South Carolina, Charleston to be exact. Shout out 843. What up? Download the app now, enter promo code HMA, and new users get $50 in lineups instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. So tonight, we don't, the baseball's on the All-Star break. There's not a whole lot of sports going on. Baseball's where I've been having the most success, but we're going to live in the future tonight. Not a whole lot on the card currently. So we went back to the pitch for one last run here. And we took Messi more than 0.5 shots on target. And we took Lamine Yamal more than 0.5 shots on target in that Spain-Argentina matchup for the championship. Sorry, Jason. But that's where we're at. That's all. It's that simple, boys. And girls. All you have to do. Two different teams, two different players. You can build that up as much as you want. That was just a straight 2-pick power play. So we 40 to win 60. But shots on target, that's all we're trying to do. Those are basically two of the best players on the pitch, and we just took them to, hey, y'all, they just need one shot on target apiece, and we're cashing, baby. Prize Picks. Download the app now and a promo code HMA. New users get $50 in lineups instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. All right, I want to jump back over to this one real quick. And you guys, BigCo, you were driving at it. Chev, you kind of hit it on a little bit. You mentioned, I was looking at Quinshon Judkins down there on another team, right? Similar. Obviously, Breece Hall would be somebody who I'd want to pick up, but that guy's team's pretty good. I don't know if the Quinshon Judkins guy is gonna want to trade. He's kind of young and ascending. Maybe he wants to keep Quinshon, so maybe that wouldn't work for him. Maybe you could pick up Rashee Rice off his team if he wants to get a little risk averse and you want to get a little more risky, because that'd be kind of the opposite of what we're doing. We're not getting more running back depth, but we're getting a risky player who could be gangbusters for you. But anyway, what I was gonna say was, BigCo, you were alluding to, like, hey, it's gonna be hard to get somebody like Kenny Walker without a pick, and then you started driving at it a little bit, like, yeah, but this is one of those things where, like, your best thing is to, like, you've got some good depth kind of everywhere, even though you didn't love your running back situation, but like this would be one of those scenarios where you could try to overload it. Maybe at the end of the day, you quote unquote overpay from just like a mass, like you go Sharbs and Monungai and Jaden Higgins and Josh Downs, and that maybe that's too much, right? But like overwhelm them with something of like, damn, look at all these guys that are on here. And yeah, they hurt you some. Maybe, and I don't know what the combination would be. Maybe he wants Jonathan Brooks and Charbonnet, and he doesn't want Charbonnet, or maybe he wants Jonathan Brooks and Chuba, doesn't want Charbonnet, or doesn't want Monungai, but that you got to start throwing combinations, like just throw them four piecers at him, right? Does he like Jaden Higgins? Does he like Josh Downs? Does he like Travis Hunter? You're trying to not, basically from Luther Burden down. I'd be like, I'm open. I'll give you two of these receivers and two of these running backs for, here's are my non-negotiables, and I'll give you throw back some combos if there's any interest at all.
Yeah, here's my
I might, right. I'd try to overload them and just see if maybe you could pull a third good running back like a Kenneth Walker off of somebody's team, or you go that route and you trade, Addison and Monungai for Rashee Rice or something, who's down and risky, but it's probably not enough. But what I'm, kind of the same thing that we're saying over there. So anyway, Love Machine, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who's tapped in for a roster review so far. Again, $15 tier monthly. You can get one roster review, plus you get the trade finder, the offer builder, you get the buckets, you get the trade calculator, everything in the $7 tier, the extra episode, you get a higher level Discord, you get ad free. You get the trade calculator, right? It's just everything. You get a ton of stuff for $15 a month, and then you can do the $7 holler as well and get you just the trade calculator and the rankings, ADP. So there's all sorts of value on the website right now. And if you want a 30-minute breakdown, private or public, $60, and we'll take care of the team. A combination of us, we'll get in there and we'll spend 30 minutes just breaking down everything we think that you should do. Or you can get them live on air like we just did for, $20. So come holler at your boys. Check out the website. A lot of free stuff on there to use as well. Still a lot of KTC out there. We want to start seeing FFD. Hey, this is the value on FFD. Help your boys out. Spread the word. Tell the people. Crowdsourcing over here on the world's best crowdsource website, the FFDynasty.com. What you want to go with the homeless shelter in KTC, or you want to go with boys who have been around the dynasty world for a long time, confident in the product? We've been in the game for 10 years or more, making content 10 years previous to that. So it's not just, we don't even know who is Keep Trade Cut. Who is it? What are we doing? How did we get here?
To continue our get rich quick scheme here.
Yeah,
we've been
our
working
10 year long con. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Love Machine. One last thing before, I know we just finished up, but one last thing for this Love Machine fellow.
Mm-hmm.
I love Casey's idea about taking your bench depth and packaging up and trying to get you another starter. I will say, and I just traded Jordan Addison recently off of a team where I needed. He's been on my bench for 2 years. That's not fair. Been on my bench all last year with the implosion of the Vikings. But Casey said from Luther Burden down, like everybody loves Josh Downs right now. Jaden Reed could be somebody's flavor. Jordan Addison is a playmaker and should be thought of as such. And I heard some good stats about his first 2 years before it blew up last year about how he was good. We all know how he was good. First round pick. And then it just, bottom fell out for the Vikings last year. That all being said, Casey said, here's when you're negotiating, here's my untouchables or whatever. Like, to me, Jaden Higgins is not untouchable, but to me, right now, Jaden Higgins is more like Jordan Addison is a playmaker, and he can score fantasy points when the ball gets somewhere close to him, and that's awesome. But like Jaden Higgins has a chance to be an alpha in this league, so like he's just bigger, stronger. Like obviously in this league we spread them out, and just smaller wide receivers do just fine these days, and doing things that we never thought they could do, and a more than just like an outlier level now. Like the smaller receivers are fine. But Jaden Higgins I think he could be a stud. So like I've just trade Jordan Addison, I like Josh Downs a ton, trade Josh Downs, get a package of those guys. I know you said you're not trading Travis Hunter, you just gave up a 2 for him. It's hard to trade him for more than you just traded for inside that same league. So maybe you're not getting good value on him, but maybe in a package, maybe somebody likes him, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Just wanted to throw that out there. Like I'm going to have Jaden Higgins a little bit more. I'm going to have Jaden Higgins, not on the Luther Burden level, because you can't match Luther Burden's, hype right now. But I'm going to build the package with Jordan Addison and Josh Downs, Jaden Reed, etc. Trying to figure out what that combo with him is, and trying to hold Jaden Higgins out of that conversation if I can, unless I'm getting like high-end retail Jaden Higgins price. Like I'm telling the guy that's trying to get Jaden Higgins from me, you got to give me a little bit of future price. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not selling him for today's price.
I think when you're throwing those combinations in there, then your math also changes on the guys that you like. Obviously, we like Jaden Higgins more. So like I'm going to lessen some of the other things around it, and you got to let him know that by sending offers back and forth, you're letting him know that Jaden Higgins has more value in this than these guys.
Right.
All right, we got one question in here that this guy hit us up and really wanted his question answered here. So this is a 6-man full PPR, no 10 in premium, huge roster, start 19. I'm rebuilding. My team's pretty bad right now. I have 27, lots of 27 picks, essentially 6 first-round picks. I was offered Achane, BTJ, Jordan Tyson for Jeremiah Love, Tyler Warren, and Quentin Johnston, who I think is the best team in the league. Would you guys do the deal? Or you stay with the guys that you have? I was thinking of sticking with the guys. Love is much younger than Achane, but I do love BTJ and Tyson. So BTJ, Achane, BTJ, and Jordan Tyson for Jeremiah Love, Tyler Warren, and Quentin Johnston.
I think I'm taking Jeremiah Love and Tyler Warren. There's too much question around BTJ right now to give him that value. I like Achane. I like that idea. And I mean, Jordan Tyson sounds fun too, I guess, but
it's no premium, but I think I'm with you, BigCo. What do you think, Chev?
What was that third player?
Jordan Tyson.
I know. No,
he's getting Quentin. He's getting Quentin Johnston.
Oh, okay. I mean, I would obviously rather have in Dynasty. I'd rather have Jordan Tyson over. So that helps.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it's pretty easy. We're gonna stick with the Tyler Warren side. I do love H-Chan. Been pretty vocal about how I think a lot of this shit with him is overblown in terms of what it's gonna look like, and well, I don't know if he's gonna be able to get the target share. Who the fuck are they gonna throw the ball to?
Malik Washington.
Answer that question for me honestly.
What is a 6-man league? I don't know.
But I mean, give me Jeremiah Love, give me Tyler Warren, who I expect to lead that team in targets pretty comfortably. Like, I mean, he could function as the wide receiver 1 and get 135 targets and do all kinds of crazy man shit that makes you want to use power tools. But I just don't. I can't. There's too much risk with BTJ right now. Like that side is all. Hey,
Quentin Johnston feels like, no, you know what? This feels all right now. BTJ's like, this could be awesome, but maybe Quentin Johnston is just BTJ.
Right. And that's going to feel really, really bad for anybody who,
or it could be awesome for both people. You're like, Quentin Johnston becomes somebody that's valued sort of like BTJ because they function similarly.
Well, that's exactly that's the point. If you can go get that 5 rounds later or 6 rounds later, just do that. Like, I mean, I don't feel like
that.
I don't feel like the offense. We've talked about this before. I don't feel like the offense. It's not the same offense that he basically commanded a 35% target share in with Mac Jones, and it's not the same coaching staff. It's not the same environment. All of the signals are bearish, but I mean, if BTJ gets relegated to just like a best ball spike week guy, like, this is not going to feel good for anybody. So if I can get out of that business and get more secure assets, and Tyler Warren,
to be fair, Chev is spreading a lot of Parker Washington propaganda. So
I was hoping that you didn't bring that up. But since we're a full disclosure type of show, yes, I do think that there's something going on in the water, and he's a sneaky wide receiver 1 for that team, and that's going to score. There's going to score a shit ton of points.
Yeah.
And I want the receiver on a team with a quarterback who's got the contract, who's going to score a shit ton of points.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good transition. I want to spend the last 15, 20 minutes of the show here we're going back to the buckets a little bit. And if you weren't familiar with the buckets, they're the value tiers that we have. And, we this is kind of the cornerstones. And I'll bring it up here so you can see it. Let's get this out of here. Oop, sorry, Jason.
See ya.
Fighting for clicks. All right. Cornerstones. This is kind of giving you like, hey, we got cornerstones. Then your foundational contenders are the guys that are, we know what the cornerstones are, right? Everybody knows what cornerstones are. We just set age parameters for those. Then the foundational contenders are guys that have been cornerstones in the past, but have kind of aged out. BigCo, we haven't changed the name of the tweeners yet, but we will. These are kind of your in-betweeners. There's like some little bit of but they don't quite fit into either one of these categories. They're not the moneymaker value loser just yet, but they've never been the foundational contenders. Maybe they're on their way, or maybe they're going to switch, back to something else, or they're going to age into moneymakers value losers. You got your moneymakers value losers here. These are guys who, like Devonta Smith and Jaden Higgins, or T Higgins and Waddle, and guys that are a little bit older who are potentially losing value, but still are very valuable if you're on a roster trying to make money. Ascending stars, pretty cut and dry. Prove it guys, pretty cut and dry. Respected OGs, these are just your older guys that you still have a lot of trust and faith in that can win you some money. Just older than the moneymaker value losers. But then we kind of left off on the glue guys, right? And these glue guys, these are like your second and third wide receivers. And then you have your 6-man who could be your flexes, but basically I feel would probably feel more comfortable starting with them on the bench, and hopefully they kind of work their ways in. So we didn't really talk a whole lot about a bunch of those guys. Now I've since filled this out. These are my own. And then we have youth lottery tickets and veteran lottery tickets and stashes. And then the stashes will get broken down into tiers. as you know, inside of there, just like you know, kind of giving you an idea of you know which stashes to prioritize or handcuffs or whatever.
Jalen Noel, Dylan Sampson, Anthony Richardson, some great stashes right there. Some great stash. Cedric Tillman, great stash. Pat Bryant, great stash. I love the stashes.
About any more great stashes, we're gonna have to start calling this the Tom Selleck list.
Ooh, love it. Ooh. I hate to do it, boys. I gotta hop out of here. I'm getting too old. I gotta get some shut eye.
Too old.
Hop on out.
All right.
Go away. Read some books.
What have you been doing lately? Reading. See ya.
All right, boys. Well, BigCo, see ya. Chev, are you gonna hang out for a minute?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hang out for a minute.
Headphones on. I can't take them off until I can't return them until they're sheathed until they have spilled blood.
All right. I'm gonna go back to just you and I split screen here. Just to not I don't want to lead the witness in here. But Quentin Johnston was somebody that we've been talking about. So and we talked about him quite a bit on the show. We've been talking about him on other shows. Jaden Reed would be another one. Where would you put Quentin Johnston? Would he be has he moved his way to a glue guy right now, or is he a six-man kind of in a foundational situation here where you like him a lot, but you want to start him on the bench? You're not going to start him week one if you can help it.
Oh, I'm 1,000. Wherever I've selected Quentin Johnston, I'm starting him week one. I will die with the lie on this one.
Okay.
Like, I think he's good. I think he's going to be good. I mean, it's damn near bag season. Regardless of what we think about him as a player, the Chargers utilized. I mean, they picked up his 5th-year option with no consternation, no contemplation. It was just like, oh, it's that time of year. We're picking up the 5th-year option. And again, I read you off the list of the receivers that have 8 touchdowns in the last 2 years, and it's like all the studs and then Quentin Johnston. So,
week one, you playing Quentin Johnston or Christian Watson?
Oh, Christian Watson.
Okay. All right. Alec Pierce. Well, I guess Alec Pierce is that's kind of cheating because there's an injury that we're dealing with here. But
at that point, I'd still just play.
If Alec Pierce is healthy,
you play Alec Pierce.
Okay.
It's just there's so many vacated targets. There's so many. I mean, they paid him. Bagman. Yeah, that's him. Like we can't deny that. But again, it's bag season for Quentin Johnston, and Mike McDaniel is he cut his teeth in the league as a receivers coach, coaching freaking Andre Johnson. So he has some wherewithal on how to scheme these guys up. Like the skill set that he represents is, basically a hand in glove fit for what Mike McDaniel does in terms of his ability to scheme guys to generate yards after the catch. We've seen him be a deep threat. That might be able to unlock him to where we can get a Jameson Williams-esque outcome. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I'm super into cheap guys that could give you spike weeks. That could turn into something else. So that's kind of my thing. That's
so you would jump Quentin Johnston out of 6-man into glue guys. Okay. How about Monungai? Monungai, is he a glue guy or a 6-man? I got Swift in the glue guys.
It's 6-man.
Okay.
6. Okay. It's 30% of the snaps, bro. It's just that offense was so good at running the football last year. If for any reason, if the efficiency dips, like we know Swift can catch passes. That's been his MO, running and using his vision, and those things were kind of the shortcomings. But Swift is a more complete back. If something happens to Swift, I think that, then Kyle Monungai jumps maybe 2 tiers, and we're talking about him in the ascending stars bucket, or maybe the tweeners bucket.
Is there anybody you see on the screen right now for the 6-man that you would, outside of Quentin Johnston, that you would jump into the glue guys? Because I think Ricky Pearsall for me is a glue guy, but I don't necessarily want to play him week one if I can help it. So that's kind of why I threw him in there. Josh Downs, same thing. Jaden Reed, like I like all these guys. Xavier Worthy should Xavier Worthy be a glue guy, or does he need? These are like the 6-man to me are like the other, like they're kind of prove-its, but like cheaper back end prove-its almost.
Yes. Yeah. Like we hate them for some reason or another.
Yeah, and I've got Michael Wilson in there, which I don't think a lot of people would. I think they would put him in glue guy already, but I gotta see it again, baby.
Like I'm Jordan Addison. I roll Jordan Addison out week 1. I mean, if you believe in Kyler Murray, then you have to move Jordan Addison out of this tier.
Oh, like so he's been productive. You would okay.
He's been productive with every other quarterback that wasn't 9. 9.
Okay, so you would say Jordan Addison and Quentin Johnson should jump into the glues.
To me, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
to me, it's just like, hey, are we going to correct? One, it's like Jordan Addison because of where he's at currently with what he's been just doing dumb stuff, and then 2, again, I do believe in Kyler somewhat just to fix, but like he got himself in here because of how he'd been acting off the field, and 2, like, are we going to correct this are the Vikings going to correct this on the field, or is this the downfall of KOC and the Vikings? Which I don't believe that necessarily. I think KOC is a good coach. I think they're.
I mean, everybody. Look, we all believe KOC was a big good coach until the BS propaganda started about how he couldn't save JJ McCarthy, and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah should have been the one that saved him from JJ McCarthy by not fucking picking him. But that's a different story for a different day.
Sure. And I just started to see like people like, oh, well, you know, the Vikings offensive line, like you guys are just now starting to talk about the Vikings offensive line affecting what was going on last year. And like, I think it started from a lot of 9 defenders of being like, wow, I was big. The offensive line, like, yeah, of course, like that should be a no, like anybody who actually watched what took place with the Minnesota Vikings last year should have already known that. And that's why I'm like, kind of like the Jordan Masons and the running back route, like, Jordan Mason, if this offense just turns around, Jordan Mason is going to fall ass forward into probably an okay season.
Dude,
you know,
here's the thing. They won 8 games last year.
Darrisaw is healthy. Right.
Yeah. They won 8 games last year. So we're not talking about a team that's just like a fucking bottom. We're not talking about the Titans. Like, I'm a Titans fan. These are 2 totally different buckets. They're top 5 in spending at every position except quarterback. So, like, this is a totally different. You got proven vets. They're thinking they're going to make a Super Bowl run coming off a 14-win season, and to go to regress back to 8 and 9 is just kind of a, oh wow, it's bad. But is it that bad? If Kyler can hoop, if Kyler still wants to play, these assets are drastically underpriced. Whether you believe in Aaron Jones or if you think you believe the hype in Damon Claiborne, giving you shades of Jahmyr Gibbs. Or Jordan Mason has a rebound. If the offensive line takes a step forward, I mean, I know Ryan Kelly retired, and I think did they cut somebody else? I can't remember off the top of my head. But point being, that roster is so good that if Kyler Murray can just play above average football, we're in a really unique spot in terms of the value pockets that got created because JJ McCarthy was so bad.
Yeah. All right, so we, again, I like Reed. I like all these guys for the most part. Jaylen Warren, should he be a 6-man or a glue guy? Ramondre, should he be a 6-man or a glue guy? Romeo Dobbs feels disrespectful that I got him as a 6-man.
What are we doing with Mondre? Why is Mondre?
He's got to be a glue guy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. Absolutely.
All right.
I mean, is
Bretton Strange a glue guy, or is he a 6-man?
See, I struggle with that because, and I mean, I'm prepared for the discourse here, the dialogue here, because I need to figure out how I feel about, like, I think he should be, and especially in tight end premium, I think he should be a glue guy. I mean, he just got the bag. He's looked here. Here's the thing.
I can tell you, week 1, there's no way I'm starting him.
No,
if I got other options.
He passes every eyeball test.
Yes.
Like it is aggressive when you watch him. It's just like, hey, can we get him out on the field? Can we make him a featured part of the offense? That's another thing that gives me trepidation about BTJ is they went and paid Brenton Strange with no problem. They had 2 extensions. I believe Ellen, the GM, said they had 2 extensions that were priority. One being Brenton Strange, the other being Parker Washington. So we're halfway done in terms of guys getting the bag. when he came back,
right, week 12 right here.
Yeah, he immediately looked like a difference maker at the tight end position.
Yeah, and this is the tight end premium is this column here. So
yes,
we have regular premium and or regular PPR and tight end premium. So you can see, solid tight end premium run here.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like they're telling you that they want to use this dude, and he's telling you when you watch him play that he can play.
Right.
So I'm cool with him being in it. Obviously the Prove It guys are a little bit younger, and this is, he's going into year. He got extended going into year 4. So yeah, I mean, if you want to put him, you want to put him as a 6 man, that's cool. We don't have to make prognostications on where he's going. So we can just kind of sit and let it play out. I mean, it's the cheapest contract security you could buy at tight end, in my opinion.
Yeah. I like having him.
Yeah, for a guy that fits several different builds, like that's the cheapest you're gonna get, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Should Romeo Doubs be over here? And did you want to go back to Ramondre?
I mean,
I kind of cut you
Ramondre
off.
Ramondre needs to be a 6 man.
I shuffled him.
A glue guy, excuse me.
Glue guy. All right. Is Romeo a glue guy?
No.
Okay. 6 man.
Not with AJ. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no AJ. I threw out all those aggressive stats about him getting, double-digit targets and what that looks like. With AJ, spike weeks, best ball only for me.
J.K. Dobbins, should he be a glue guy?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so. Do you? What do you think?
I think if he's my only option, then he's a glue guy.
No, what I'm saying is like we got to follow. So you got to follow a little bit of breadcrumbs, but they used him in the Mark Ingram role, and it was really good up until he got hurt. I think he was like 4th in the league in rushing yards before he got hurt. He's averaging 5 a carry. We talked about how inefficient RJ Harvey was behind the same offensive line. He's 5.1 a carry, basically. Like, they gave him a 2-year deal that they can get out of after this year. But I mean, if he plays his way, if he plays really well again, he's played his way into another like 1 to 2 year deal. Like I just, the only thing we need him to do is just play 17 games. This is the new James Conner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He was, petering out. He had a couple of rough, but then pretty solid throughout.
Hey,
right?
Look at the attempts. Look at the attempts.
Yeah.
Double-digit attempts for 10 straight weeks. Like, I feel like I traded him in a league where I have really good, and I wanted to create a tight end horde. But I traded him for Mike Washington because I have Ashton Genty, Mike Washington, and Colby Parkinson, who I've also been very vocal about. But yeah, I traded him this week, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't think I did the right thing."
Yeah. Let's get my value tiers back up here. Sorry. I want to go back. We got a question over here on the side from Cameron. He said, "I have Marv and Harvey as my 4th." In their positions, could I be worse off? I have Marv. So basically, wide receivers are JSN, Neighbors, Flowers, running back, Love, Cook, Henderson. So if Marv's your 4th with JSN, Neighbors, and Flowers, no, that's fine. Like,
yeah,
that's yeah.
What are you waiting on?
I love that. That's great. I love that.
It's phantasmal.
Yeah, I love that room. And then Cook, Love, Henderson, Harvey, we were just talking about JK, right? And must have been this week we were talking about, I don't know, remember the second year guys, right? Is that what we did? We did the second year rankings that haven't come out yet. Second year player rankings. And all of us still I think Jeremiah is probably the lowest on Harvey, but it feels like would it be like, I could pull up Harvey real quick, but was it 60? Like, is it out of the realm? Oh, you know what it was? Also, we talked about, we went on Patreon after that, but then we went and talked about Broncos. We've been breaking down teams, like kind of coaching changes and what they are and who they are through Patreon some. So we're doing some of the breakdowns on there. We're going to do an AFC West rankings video here next week, but we've been doing some of those breakdowns that we were doing, and some of those will be public and some of them will be on Patreon. $7 holler gets you the Patreon episodes, the rankings trade calculator. Go check it out. But yeah, you can see right there, 58 targets last year, 47 receptions. Like, it would not, and like that was his rookie season. Like, I understand they took Jonah Coleman, and I understand they re-signed J.K. Dobbins, but like Big D made a great point of just like Coleman feels like and Big D used this analogy a lot back in our day. There was a satellite back on like every team, and then there was who wasn't the backup, and then there was like a direct backup to the actual RB1, right?
Yeah.
And that's what this feels like. Sean Payton, an older school guy, he's kind of run his running backs room a certain way. Like Jonah Coleman, maybe he's undeniable and sees the field a lot this year, but like if J.K. Dobbins is on the field, Jonah Coleman is not replacing R.J. Harvey's role.
Correct.
Right? So the role for R.J. Harvey is the pass-catching running back who's still probably, what do you have, 150 attempts?
Yeah.
Or close to it. Like, if RJ's plays the whole season and he has the same amount of attempts, and like if RJ Harvey just what he did last season, and I get it, you're saying, well, J.K. Dobbins missed time. Well, I'm expecting RJ Harvey's role to expand quicker through the first part of the season from what we saw, right? I think RJ Harvey will come right in and have a very defined role on this team. I just don't think, they drafted Jonah Coleman, now RJ Harvey's out. Like, I think RJ Harvey excelled in the position that they put him in last year as far as a pass catching running back. And they've always wanted a guy who operates that way in a Sean Payton offense. And he's that guy for them. Like, I can understand the fade somewhat of dropping the ADP back just because he's not going to be the guy, but like he to me has a very defined role in this offense. That is not going anywhere. And there's a great PPR floor for RJ Harvey. So, I don't think that I'm upset about that at all.
So we have the proof of concept of them using multiple backs. Like you can go back to you can go back to the Reggie Bush, Pierre Thomas, Deuce McAllister. Like there's always more than one guy, right? And they've always had more than one guy, and they all do different things for the most part. Like only when it was Alvin Kamara did we get, and even still, we had some Latavius Murray sprinklings where he was
for the most part of Alvin Kamara's career. You had somebody else in there.
Yes. So is he? And we have so many years of different pass catchers being fantasy relevant because Sean Payton throws the ball to the running back at one of the highest rates in the league. That's just what's built into the offense.
Right.
So I don't understand. I have zero understanding as to why. Like, I think it's just a fundamental misunderstanding of what he's trying to accomplish in the offense and just kind of saying, well, this situation is RJ Harvey's going to be the odd man out. And it's like, RJ Harvey's never going to be the odd man out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Just if you're a draft capital snob, just break it down math wise. Well, they took another guy. Well, what did they spend on RJ Harvey? The 64th pick. What did they spend on Jonah Coleman? A pick in the hundreds. So you can just save yourself like some cognitive dissonance and pain just by doing that thought exercise.
Yeah. And Jonah Coleman can just have the Dobbins role when he's done, and they can bring him along and I'm sure he'll get some run this year and yada, yada. Maybe he's undeniable and they're so good, but like forever they held Mark Ingram in check, and forever we were like, it's just like our thing was always like, is he having sex with Peyton's wife? Like, why is Mark Ingram not getting more run?
Yeah. And then when he did, he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And when they finally were like, oh, okay. Oh, you won the Heisman? Oh, we spent a first round pick on you? Oh, you're really good, actually?
Yeah.
And he was really good.
Imagine that. And then, so in that, just to peek behind the curtain in the Patreon episode where we broke down all the coaching changes and kind of what it means and who they brought in and offensive line and the draft and all that stuff. And so, we did that on Patreon, but like we kind of came to the conclusion. Then we broke down the position groups a little bit of just like, look, they brought in Waddle. We all really like the addition of Waddle to this team. Then you have Sutton over there, who's still good, right? I don't think, Sutton's like washed by any means. Now you're not really going to be able to necessarily double Sutton. You got Waddle stretching the field, and you still have Franklin. Like, you have field stretchers in there. Like, how does Bo Nix and Sean Payton run this offense? Death by 1,000 paper cuts and then shots. What Waddle just did is somebody who can help you with death by 1,000 paper cuts and also give you a better shot man, right? And so what does all that do for the underneath? Like, this is why I think RJ Harvey could just have an easy 60 checkdowns. Like, they have no problem checking it down if that's the easiest, most effective way to get the ball down the field. We've seen it time after time with Bo Nix throughout his career, and I didn't love him coming out, but then this like, that's what Sean Payton has done with Drew Brees. You know,
it's
and that wasn't a comparison between Nix and Brees. That's not, obviously Brees is outstanding.
Guys, yeah,
you know, that's not what I'm saying.
Let's not get ridiculous. But the point being that you have to understand the way that people run, like the way that coaches, coordinators, play callers, who they target, what archetypes they target, and what the roles are in the offense. And I think that there's been just this mass propaganda campaign of RJ Harvey hate for the simple fact that they took a running back and they brought another running back in, and we're not, he's not a bell cow. That's
and it's like, well, he didn't grind between the tackles great. Like, number one, this guy hasn't been playing football all that long as far as at the running back position.
The running back position, exactly.
And he you know, got at rookies hit walls for different reasons. And you know, was he excellent grinding between the tackles? No, but I thought there was different games where he showed some life at being able to grind a little bit, but that's not necessarily what they need him to do. And I think a lot of it just comes from a lot of the people now, they have something. They didn't like Harvey to begin with. They think he's mid and a jag. And he could be mid and a jag and still catch 60 balls. And I don't think that's the case. If you go watch him in space, like, he's an elusive, fun player who isn't just going to be mitigated to like 80 attempts. I don't think this past, like, he's going to have triple digit attempts.
Yes.
RJ Harvey.
Yes.
I just, you know, I think it's just a group, a swath of people of like, well, I like Jonah Coleman more anyway, and RJ Harvey stinks, and I didn't like him, and you know, I was like, I couldn't say anything through the back half of the season because it was too good, but now I get to come back out here and confirm my priors and say he stinks. See, they're telling you that Jonah Coleman is going to be the guy, and it's like, I just don't think that that's the 1-for-1 replacement.
Yes. So,
and I like Jonah Coleman a lot.
Yes, brother. We have talked about this. I've been very, very vocal about how I feel about Jonah Coleman, how he's just a more athletic version of Cam Scatterbo, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that he's going to go out here and take somebody's job. Here's the problem. I was not surprised by RJ Harvey struggling to run between the tackles because I watched his college film, and guess what he did? He tried to bounce everything outside the tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so him struggling at doing that in the men's league is not a surprise if you're familiar with the way that he's played football previously.
Yeah.
And Sean Payton saw that. I guarantee you they watched 100 times more tape on him and had a more thorough evaluation process than anybody out here who's willing to talk to you about fantasy football. Yeah. So,
and to Harvey's credit, like, I felt like he was trying to stick to the plan a little bit more down the stretch.
It's just a different, like, the men's league is different. You're going to have opportunities. The shit that you were good at in college, sometimes it's not going to immediately translate. We heard about Travion Henderson being a generational pass protecting running back. And what does he do? He gets benched because he fucks up in pass protection like multiple times and misses out on an explosive. Ramondre's longest play from scrimmage since like his rookie year because they had to take him out because he was so shitty in pass protection. So that doesn't mean that he can't get better at pass protection. Running backs get better as they go along. It's a desire thing. It's a skill thing. But you assuming that he can't get better at something that they selected him in spite of his opportunities to grow there, and assuming that this is just a finished product and that the 4th round guy is going to usurp him, it's nonsensical.
Yeah,
it's not logical by any one of the if you're a draft capital snob, if you're an athleticism snob, if you're a pass catcher, well, yeah, Jonah Coleman was really good at at pass catching. But anyway, point being, there's no sound logic to follow to say, oh, this is the replacement for RJ Harvey.
Yeah. So Cameron Myers, good last name, spelled the correct way too. Shout out to him. I think he just joined the Patreon, but we're trying to get everybody over to the website. I think Jason just hooked you up with that and set you over to the website there. The Patreon is now basically over on the website. Everything that we had over there is in one neat, nice place on the website. If you're listening on the pod or right now, and you can use Jason brought it up on the screen, but you can enter to win the 5-star review contest. It gets you can get a giveaway here for a monthly subscription, also a roster review by just giving us 5 stars on iTunes and Spotify. You stay in, we're going to give one a week of a membership away, and then one a month of a roster review away. Maybe we'll do even more, who knows? But help your boys out and shoot some 5-star reviews over there, and we'll get some free memberships out to y'all boys. All right, let's wrap this one up. We've been rolling for 2 hours. I love
it's been 2 hours.
I love talking these buckets, man. I can't be more excited to continue to hone those in and continue to do those. I think it just has good conversations, and I think it's a good, just different way to look at things. So there's something that we're going to be doing a lot more in the shows of just bringing it up. And I think it's just a fun, better roster construction way of talking about everything that we're doing. And that is in, one of the tiers, not to try to sell you anything necessarily, but this is just something that we're going to continue to work on, hone in. It's built into roster reviews. It's built into, it's going to be built into a bunch of stuff that we do in the site, kind of on the back end, helping make decisions and dictate things of just, putting guys in buckets feels like a better way to kind of view where you are in roster construction and which buckets are for what, where you're at in a build, essentially. So make sure you come check those out. We're going to do plenty more on that kind of moving forward. But we appreciate everybody who's checking it out. Like, guys, we've had over 50,000 swipes in the last 7 to 10 days. That's so awesome. We're so appreciative of it. It's really, really cool to see it happening. I mean, it's just when you're the world's best crowdsource rankings, just it really can't get any better. So shout out to all you guys. We really, really, really appreciate it. This website is still a fairly new thing. So again, any problems, any issues, hit us up. Support tickets are out there, and we're getting notifications and everything set up to just fix the problems as they come in. We know we're going to have them. Appreciate it, Cam. You're the man. Cam's in there, so appreciate you, man. Been following for a year. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody. One more thing that I just wanted to hit, we have the show questions and we have the free thing, and that was we all got us all rolling over there. What we need on the free questions is just a more pointed questions than just like a general roster review. Like, you hit me with a pointed question, and then we can go in and we can look at your roster real quick and say, Achan or Love or Javonte Williams or ETN. So if we do the free questions, just more pointed questions of, hey, not what should I do with this roster in general, but hey, this guy for that guy, or what do you think should I make this trade, or a philosophy question or anything like that. A more pointed question for the free questions will help us get through a bunch more of those as we move forward. But again, roster reviews are live. Make sure you check that out on the site. $15 a month will get you one roster review, and then every 3 months you can move that to a different roster, right? So you get one roster review, it locks in for 3 months, and if you stay on there, you can move it to a different roster. You can buy multiple packs if you want. You also can buy the $7 tier. That's the Patreon. That's the $5 holler that we always had. Now it's a $7 holler. Inflation got us finally. But you get the pod, you get advertisement free pod, you get the extra pod, you get rankings. Yeah, there you go. Ad free. You get FFD ADP. So there's a bunch of the tiers for your pleasure. To go ahead and get. Again, this is like my least favorite thing of doing this. I hate pitching these, but if I don't tell you about them, you don't know they're out there. And then you can buy solo roster reviews or multiple packs of roster reviews, the automated one. And then if you scroll down a little further, you can get the live roster review or the $60 30-minute big boy review, which we've had a bunch of success with in the past, and people loved them. So if you really want something like that, a little bit more immersive, and that can be public or private. So check it out. Chev, anything else to tell them?
You didn't mention the double secret menu where you can get Casey's foot picks if you pay $125 a month.
I just so happen to have a foot right here.
Ooh, hey, the left foot is extra.
Yeah. You can't. The left foot, that one's
it's a moneymaker.
That's got the hammer toe. All right, we're out. We'll catch you next week. Actually, I don't know if I will, but the boys will maybe be here. We'll see you.
Maybe I'll be here.